Okay, so I wrote a poem and I've entitled it A Message to the Deluded Masses. So here it goes. It says, Why? Why are you fighting to bring more people into a country, into a system that is already devouring its own? You wave signs, you chant slogans, you scream for justice. But where was your voice when your own neighbors were drowning? Where was that fight for the homeless veterans who gave everything to defend this land only to sleep in tents and be ignored like ghosts? Where was your outrage for the broken families scraping by, the mothers crying into silence, the mentally ill thrown to the streets like trash? You didn't march for them. You didn't riot for them. You barely looked their way because the media didn't tell you to. And now, suddenly, you're full of fire? Now you're fighting for humanity? Now you're rising up? No, you're following orders. Where was that fire when they forced an experimental injection on millions of people just to keep their jobs? Millions who, many, are suffering the effects of that injection. Where was your passion when nurses were called heroes one day, then fired the next for saying no to a rushed chemical cocktail, pushed by the same corrupt system that profits off of our illness? Where was your concern when people were shamed, silenced, banned, blacklisted for daring to question a product delivered by an orange man at warp speed? The same government you now pretend to distrust. You weren't standing with us. You weren't speaking out. You were part of the mob, mocking, shaming, cheering for control. And now you want to talk about oppression? You talk about borders and rights while stepping over veterans with missing limbs. You chant for asylum while ignoring the asylum seekers already here, the broken, the medicated, the forgotten, who never got your hashtags or tears. Don't talk to us about compassion if you couldn't even stand up for your neighbor when it mattered. You're not awake. You're not aware. You're being used. You're being led. They tell you who to mourn, who to fight, who to cancel, who to care for. And you obey every time. This is not humanity. This is herd behavior. This is a population addicted to performance and allergic to the truth. But something is shifting. The spell is breaking. The veil is lifting. And those of us who never bought in, we remember. We remember the silence when it mattered. We remembered the cheers for censorship. We remember the betrayal. And we are done being quiet. So to the ones still clapping for their chains, wake the hell up. Your compliance is costing lives, your silence is consent, and your selective outrage is a disease. This country is bleeding, and you're asking for more bandages instead of pulling out the knife. If you can't see the manipulation by now, you are no longer just a victim of it. You are a carrier of it. Enough is enough. You either stand in truth or you stand in the way. We don't need more puppets. We need people with eyes open, spines intact, and hearts that burn for all the forgotten, not just the ones your screens tell you to remember. That's all I wrote.